Hello and welcome. This is episode 28 of the 9-Day Website Mastery Program. I'm here with my co-host Pascal Fintoni. How are you, Pascal?
Very, very well. I look forward to this now a lot. There's so much to talk about the world of website, but also AI, which is really a thread through today's episode.
It certainly is. And well, we do have a lot to unpack, seeing that the Google I.O conference was only a few days ago. So there's plenty to talk about. But as always, we have 4 segments on the 9-Day Website Mastery podcast. This was the companion to the 9-Day Website Mastery program that me and Pascal put on. We wanted to find a way to continue to share more advice and insights about making your website work harder for you, and ultimately for you to feel proud of your website again. It's that moment that someone asks for your website address and you've got that pang in your stomach. Oh no, don't have a look. It's so out of date. It's not on brand anymore. We want you to feel proud of your website. And that's what this is all about. So the 4 segments we have the You Ask, We Answer. This week, we're going to go into the Google I.O conference. We have website stories. We also have the website engine room, where we give you an app each that is going to make your life easier as a website manager or website content creator. And of course, you can't finish a piece of content without the website call to action. So our 4th segment and our final segment is always a website call to action, where we give you one change or adjustment that you could be making to your website right now to start making you feel proud of your website again. So I'm going to get started, and we're going to start with website. With You Ask, We Answer, and I will hand over to Pascal.
Thanks again for doing such a great job to summarize, this short form episode. Really, this is more so like you and I. People know this. We're more long form kind of people, but this is good discipline. And in the You Ask, We Answer, this is really for me a moment of reflection. So you mentioned that the Google I.O conference, the 3-day annual conference, took place, where they shared plans for the future around the search experience, but also the whole kind of Google ecosystem and the Android systems as well. And I was reflecting with a pal of mine on the conference and kind of praising the AI solution, but also sometimes thinking, are we going too far? And then the question came out of him in conversation saying, well, I've gone through the highlights again from the recent Google I.O conference, Pascal, and it seems as though the future of the Google search result would be just AI summaries throughout the entire mobile phone screens or laptop screen, and is that going to be a problem for SEO? So this is what I wanted to kind of debate with you, because Google have always made the promise to go multimodal, so you'll be able to write your questions, your quest for information. You can speak it now. As we mentioned many episodes ago, you can now circle a particular part of a photo on your mobile phone screens and get search results. You'll be able to essentially almost drag and drop information from different parts of the Google ecosystem. In fact, during the conference, that was kind of interesting. They kind of showcased this new strap line on the big screen they have at Mountain View at that kind of Google headquarters. And the question that the strap line is as follows, looking at my notes: just ask, and Google will do the Googling for you. What they're doing is that using AI to pretty much not second guess, but know what you need and what you want after 30 years of data crunching and kind of data kind of hoarding. And part of their ambition is to make, therefore, the access to information to be without barriers. So, they've done some amazing work around accessibility and more. There is even now a future where people won't have to tap on the screen on their mobile phone. They just have to stare at a particular button on the website, and it will be seen as an action, which I think is really quite exciting for all sort of things. But when it comes to search, what they are promising is to really accelerate your discovery of information, your access to knowledge, by creating summaries in the form of little vignettes. Imagine a photography with some overlay text. Sometimes it'd be just text, sometimes it'd be short form videos and so on. But this idea of, on the search page itself, you will have the information you need, and it may not be required of you to then click on anything to move on to the next thing. And as a result of which, I can really understand and appreciate why people would be concerned about potential risk to website traffic, because to date, and it still happens because this is going to be a very slow rollout, you have a number of search results expressed in different ways, from just text and hyperlinks to text and videos and more, but you have to click on it to access more, to understand more what's being said here. So this idea of the zero-click era, which has been kind of looming for quite some time, it feels like we are now weeks away as opposed to months or years away.
Well, it's really going to change the landscape in terms of how you use the likes of Google. No longer, I mean, we were never crawling to page 2, 3, 4, or 5 anyway, let's be honest. But it's about how we're going to get those results very quickly and very easily. But the big question is what it means from my point of view, because I love SEO, deeply rooted in search engine optimization. The big question is, what does this mean for search engine optimization? But I am pleased to say that if you've been following what SEO people have been saying for the last number of years, as long as you're on the same track, then actually you're fine. But the question is, have you been implementing things that we've been talking about? So that could be anything from structured data, which is so important now. I mean, making sure that Google thoroughly understands your content, thoroughly understands your website, thoroughly understands all the different aspects of the content around the website. But more so, is your content helpful? Is your content resourceful? And as if you are helping Google understand your content and your content is helpful or resourceful, then you're already a million steps ahead in terms of what AI in Google search means for search engine optimization. So I'm not overly concerned. I'm actually really pleased to hear that what we've been saying is on the right track.
Yeah, and clearly, and I don't wish to be or to come across as unkind, but if your activities today with regard to your website and beyond has been the just enough or that'll do, then yes, you're going to get caught out. Absolutely right. But if over the past few years you've researched what information people are seeking out, from the kind of educational side to all the way to making a purchase decision, and if you've been driven by this idea of being seen and heard, being helpful, and following the many advice you and I've shared for now 27 episodes and beyond, if you include the webinars and more, then you are on track, because it remains like those little summaries, AI summaries, they're just tapping into your content, or whoever is listening and watching. Google to date, and I have to say I'm pleased, because that would have been quite a different scenario. They've never gone ahead and produced their own information, and sometimes they've fallen foul, of course, of copyright infringement with newspapers and media companies and so on. So they still need access to the information, but they've chosen to present it in what they called a multi-model kind of experience. And if I extend that away from the search engine results, the conference that went to show about the usefulness to all of us, the operators. I mean, what's going to happen in terms of the difference to Gmail and Google Docs and beyond, in terms of the productivity side, because the assistant will be able to help you. There was some lovely example from you need to put together a presentation about a subject matter, and that information is spread across your inbox and Google Drive and photos and so on, and the AI will be able to give you the summaries as they would if it was a search on Google. I love the bit about creating your expenses form automatically. I have to say that was very appealing, where, again, using the same function, your receipts could be in your inbox, could be a scan on photos, could be an app, and that kind of thing, so long as you've got the right permission. Your kind of monthly claims form that we all hate doing will be populated automatically. So it is changing. It is driven by this idea of removing all barriers to information and knowledge. And those AI summaries will roll out very, very slowly. And ultimately, it will be a summary of the information you've taken the trouble to produce. But is that information in line with the mindset and the psyche and the needs of a searcher? That is really what the heart of this conversation.
Yeah. And so I'm loving all the automation, all the reduction of processes. There's some unbelievable stuff that you can do with AI, and Google was certainly showcasing some of that. But I think that the sort of the three sort of practical things that I think website owners should be either continuing to do or implementing immediately is what I've been talking about for a number of years now, which is schema. So really utilizing schema across your entire website to inform Google what your content is about, what your business is about, to understand, to be able to label all of your content in the structured way that Google understands it. The second thing is, are you answering people's questions? So what are people typing in? What are their FAQs? And what are people asking Google? Because if you're not answering those questions, then you've got no chance of appearing in that generative AI at all, and being on never mind page one, but the top of the listing. So are you answering the questions? And one of the things that I've been doing a lot of this week is using Search Console, Google Search Console, to identify questions that people are typing into Google that end up on one of my websites, whether it be one of my websites or one of my clients' websites. And you can do some very clever queries in Google Console to find phrases where perhaps it includes the word how or where or what. So you know it's a question. You then identify the questions that are bringing traffic to your website. You then find out the page that Google's serving, and find out whereabouts you rank. And if you're ranking in position sort of perhaps, let's say, 12 to 30, a bit of optimization, you could easily break into page one, and if not, start breaking into the higher results, so that you're ready for that AI experience where someone does a search, Google believes you're relevant, and starts sharing your content. So are you answering the questions? Going back, there was three things: the schema, are you answering questions? And my third point is the language that you're using on service and product pages. So perhaps Googling your service or Googling your product, seeing what results are coming up on Google, and having a look at the content that are on those websites, and understanding the way it's been written in terms of, has it been written in first party, second party, third party? How's it answering the solution that someone's searching for? And are you using a similar language, or actually are you using something completely different? And that is why you're not ranking on page one for Google. So nothing's really changed here, but you need to have been doing what we've been saying for a long time, and implementing it as soon as possible.
And if I quickly add one and we move on to our next segment, if you've been producing videos for a while, and bear in mind this idea of creating highlights and segments and bite-sized displays of those videos on Google search results and beyond, go back to your best performing videos and work on those chapters. Educate YouTube, owned by Google, about which bit are you answering the question. It could be a 20-minute conversation and you've answered literally in that time 3-4 questions. Spell them out, and sometime even in a copy of the YouTube, follow Jonny's advice and write the question as a chapter title, as the words used by your audiences. And don't forget to optimize the photography as well. And if you need to add more photography to make the information even more understandable by both visitors and the search engines, we need to go back. I think we might talk ourselves into doing a special recording of this podcast for just the Google I.O, because there was so much more to say. But for now, time is against us, and let's move on to our next segment, where we have a special announcement: website stories. Now, it's interesting because you and I wanted to wait a bit longer before this announcement, because not so long ago we shared our wonderful ebook, the wonderful kind of ultimate website toolkit with 50 apps and solutions selected carefully by Jonny and I. So if you haven't already, Jonny will in a moment will share the hyperlink for you on this video, and we'll put it in the shorts as well. But this is free to download. 50 apps and online solutions to make you feel proud of your website again. And we've been working on something else, haven't we, Jonny, behind the scenes? And I'm so pleased to announce, and you can describe a bit more about how to use it, announce to all of you the website call to action randomizer.
So yeah, for the ebook, it's literally 90daymarketingmastery.com/e-book. But as Pascal has just insinuated, we've just launched the roll the dice action randomizer. So it's 90daymarketingmastery.com/roll-the-dice. We'll put the URL in the show notes. And this is taking all of our call to actions that we've been giving you over the series. There's been 27 episodes. We're on 28 today, and putting them, it's that one change or adjustment that you could be making to your website right now that can start making you feel proud of your website. And the point of it is, you've no idea what we're going to suggest until you click that button and roll the dice and see what comes up. And the beauty of it is we've practiced what we've preached. We've taken these aren't long form podcasts, as Pascal said right at the beginning. It's a short form podcast, but it's still 30 minutes. We've taken the segment of exactly where we talk about that one call to action, and we've bite-sized the whole thing down. So the moment you click roll the dice, you find that one example, and you'll not just see the text about it, but you'll find the video of us talking about it. So all you need to do is just keep rolling that dice and applying these actions across your website, and you'll soon feel proud again.
What is interesting about the design that we put into it is the instruction is very easy to follow, is very short and sharp. So you can literally put it in your diary a half hour to an hour just to adjust the website and surprise yourself and your colleagues and go, I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be something that's going to be easy to apply because we know that Jonny and Pascal have got our back. And let's roll the dice and see what happens. You could do this every week. That means that right now you have a year's worth of adjustments that you can do by putting the time in the diary, which I think is important. It's not something that you can just do. I mean, I want people to have fun, Jonny, and use the interaction, but this idea of put the time to one side, and today I'm going to make that small change and work with my colleagues and external partners. And I think the idea of not knowing what that is, it gives you a bit of a frisson, as they say where I come from, but also you're going to surprise yourself. And I think that's going to be easier than going through a long list of 50 instructions and trying to make sense of them.
I love the idea at your weekly marketing meetings to literally roll the dice and reveal an action that you can then discuss in that meeting and implement that week, and doing one a week. I love that idea. That is absolutely brilliant. Gold dust.
Absolutely. Now, here it is. Please, all of you, go and visit that section of the website, roll the dice for the website call to action randomizer, and then get in touch when you've completed 10. Jonny and I want to hear from you. Give us a list of the one you've gone ahead. Show us, obviously, how it's changed your website. And then once you've done all 10, we will have another surprise for you.
And now we're going to move on to the website engine room.
Now, in this section of the show, we share one app, one software solution, maybe a piece of kit that can help us be better at website content creation and general website management. And Jonny, what is your selection for this episode?
So for this episode, it is an app called Boost Spaces. It's a web app. It's a desktop web app. Boost Spaces. They were bought out by make.com. So I don't know if any of you have heard of make.com. You could either go down the make.com route or the Boost Spaces route. They're pretty much the same app behind the scenes. The point of this is that this is Zapier, or if this then that, but up a massive step, up a huge step. You've got the ability to be able to connect more than 1,800 apps into pre-made cloud data modules. You can consolidate data, create single source of truth, and you can synchronize your data back without any coding and just in a few clicks. So this is sort of taking if this happens, then do this. So there's loads of automation, loads of processes. So what you think about this in two different sides of the coin. You've got the side of the coin which is sort of the automation. If this happens, make this happen. And as I said, you can do it with drag and drop and a few clicks, and you can connect so many different apps to do different things based on different events. But on the flip side, the whole CRM data, sales pipelines, product data, any data that you have that you might have across a number of different systems. This is one system that can consolidate all of that data and find commonalities and join dots between the data. And whether you use that to cleanse, whether you use that to enhance processes, enhance sales teams, enhance internal HR, all sorts of different things, taking your CRM, all your different data sets, putting it into one place and being able to have that one place to deal with the data, but also to feed some of the findings back to some of these different apps. So it's completely changed my world in terms of automation and process. Highly recommend it. Boost Spaces, and it's a move on from Zapier in a huge way.
Super.
And I wish, I'm sorry to interrupt here. I feel like I'm so passionate that I must be on commission, but I'm not.
We're not.
And all of these apps, we're not, are we?
We're not. Someone was saying to me, so that ebook you mentioned, Pascal, you must be making a fortune. So no, we're far too generous with our time, and there's no hyperlink giving us, a few cents here or there. Maybe one day. Now, listen, this is great, and our recommendation, you and I, can't help but being sometime in training, mentoring mode. Start with pen and paper, or whiteboard. Just map it out first, and you're going to be working so much faster on Boost Spaces. So here's a scenario for you. About a week or so ago, I was sent a link to a podcast episode, an hour conversation between two great experts. And I don't know about you, but my podcast to be listened list is as long as my Netflix watch list. It's just I need to find a way to clone myself and so on. So I was like, oh, drat, this sounds super interesting, but I just don't have the time. Or more importantly, would it be a waste of my time? And I was thinking there must be a way to get a quick summary of a podcast. It's easy on YouTube because you can read the chapters, you can, kind of fast forward, whatever. But podcast is tricky. And I wanted something that easy. I didn't want to go into the descript realm or headliner, things we mentioned before. And I came across this great little tool called snipcast.io, which was actually an invention from a young developer. We should, encourage the kind of the younger developers out there. Mikhail Svartveit, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. And what you do is quite simply, you copy and paste, let's say, the URL from Spotify into this dashboard. It's a web-based application. And then within moments, you get an email into your inbox with the key takeaways and the summaries. And I was therefore encouraged to go, brilliant. I want to listen to this now. I have my text-based summary, and I'm very, very encouraged. And this works as well with YouTube video, which I thought was really, really impressive. So you have a free plan, and then you have the kind of monthlies you can imagine. But you can see the many applications. So maybe you've been a guest on a podcast, and it's been a while back, and you want to do a bit of a repurposing on your own website, and you don't want to have to listen to the whole interview, and people don't have to listen to themselves anyway. So what you can do is copy and paste the URL on snipcast.io and get a summary and the key takeaways, well organized, really well thought out, that you can then re-edit or maybe ask AI to support you for a bit more repurposing and put on your website. Maybe you want to do a repurposing of a podcast you've enjoyed thoroughly as part of your blogging activities. So you can then embed the podcast player or the YouTube player, and then you can have that key takeaways. So snipcast.io was really, really well thought out, great kind of UX, and I can see that there'd be many, many uses for it.
Fantastic. Two great apps for you to consider and to try out, ultimately to help you as website managers be more effective, more productive, and start feeling proud of your website. Let's move on to the website call to action.
Jonny and I are going to recommend the one change, the one adjustment that's going to make life much easier for you and make you feel proud of your website again. Jonny, what is your selection for this episode?
Well, this one fits nicely with Google's I.O conference last week in terms of how they are introducing AI into search. And it's about, are you answering people's questions? We've talked about having FAQs across your site on many occasions, on product pages, on service pages. But what I'd like to introduce is how those FAQs are presented, and thinking about using accordion dropdowns. So a dynamic FAQ section where you're pulling relevant questions onto relevant pages, and having them set out in a way that makes it so easy to access, potentially reducing support queries, and speeding up clients and potential clients finding the right fit, and really beginning to understand if they can trust you. So answering people's questions, but making it look nice using accordion style, where you've got that plus and minus where you can open and close, and as I said, using dynamic FAQs, so that perhaps you've got WordPress or whatever system, content management system you have, where it's very easy to place certain questions on certain product pages or certain service pages, and just speeding up that process and making it easy to answer the frequently asked questions that your potential clients or clients are asking.
We keep saying it, to be seen and heard being helpful. That's really what this is all about. And interesting, I think the FAQ as a concept has made its appearance on website call to action quite a few times, but there's a reason for that. Visitors really seek it out to begin with. And there's definitely, as you heard a moment from Jonny, reward. It's obvious to me that these type of content are rewarded by higher visibility on search engines. So my call to action actually came as a result of a coaching session where I felt I had to apply a bit of tough love, as one time you have to. So we were discussing with a client their website progress, particularly in and around the blogging, and they had to confess that they'd not met some of the deadlines and that kind of things. But then interestingly, they've been, however, fine with social media. So I kind of get it. I understand that the environment is a lot more inviting and charming to do things on LinkedIn and Facebook and now X, because it's changed recently, as you well know. So I say, okay, I can use that, but you see, you cannot put that content on social media and then neglect the website. Unacceptable. But what you could do is, any of you, if you shared, recently, let's look at the month that was, and you've shared some interesting news or tech, answered some questions, but the vast majority of your network would have missed that because of the infamous algorithm and time of day and all that kind of stuff. So what you could do is use AI to convert these kind of social media posts into a enhanced best of social roundup. Let me explain what I mean. So a few years ago with that AI, what you've done is copy and paste maybe the content of the post, or maybe you've embedded by putting the code of the post into your kind of blog, and you would have done something okay. You say, here is the post you may have missed. But what you can do now with AI is go back to the social media post and ask AI to extrapolate maybe the key takeaways, or to extrapolate the top actions that should be derived from the news item, or the kind of the top kind of follow-up questions one should have about this new tech. So that's what I mean by an enhanced best of social roundup. You've done the work, you've published what you want to publish on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the others, and you use AI to expand upon the point you were making, and that becomes, like I said, the best of social roundup to go on your website.
And again, using AI, we love it, and why not? And I love the idea of literally just pasting some of your social content and repurposing it, and making sure that you are taking the best bits, that helpful, the resourceful stuff, and helping your clients and potential clients find it. What another great episode, packed full of stuff. We've unpacked Google I.O's conference, although we've not given it as much space as it really needs. We've unpacked small parts of it, and as Pascal said, we may end up doing another podcast to unpack it a bit more. But the part that we were very interested in today was all about AI in Google search and what that means for your search engine optimization. We've tried to reiterate that this is about making sure that you continue to be helpful and resourceful. Those are the two things to be thinking about. Is your content helpful? Is it resourceful? We've shared some great apps, some great tips. We, of course, have launched our Roll the Dice action randomizer. If you are in a marketing meeting and want a bit of inspiration on how you can start feeling proud of your website again, roll that dice, get an idea, share it in the meeting, put it in practice that week. And once you've done 10, let us know. And we may have some surprise for you. It's been a great episode. This is the audio companion to the 90-day website mastery program. For more information, please visit 90daymarketingmastery.com. You'll be able to book a discovery call with either myself or Pascal. We'll be back with another podcast episode very soon. In the meantime, feel free to share your questions or your preferred apps. Let us know about the random atomizer and whether you've put things into place. We'd love to know, and we'd certainly give you a shout out. But it's bye for now, everyone. We'll leave you with a fun video and audio montage whilst you go through your notes and actions. Pascal, it's been great seeing you as always, and I shall see you soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.